switch games really quick. Hold on. The software was closed because the game code was removed. Yes, that was the entire point of me going there. Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got. I don't have my notes from last time anymore. Do I? No, I do. I do still have them. Okay. This game sports and all this have blah 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 blah. Nobody cares about this shit. Press any button. Continue. The 22nd of November. Oh, that's Denise's birthday. That's Rick's girlfriend's birthday. Supreme Court of blah 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 blah. Defendants Anti-Chamber 5. Excellent work, Ryu. That was superb. Oh, great. I'm gonna have to do more voice work. My heart was in my mouth the entire time. You disgust me. I disgust me. It was almost unbelievable. I mean, looking at you in there. You were drenched in sweat. Your eyes popping, your knees knocking, and you were grinding your teeth. It was a grim sight, but before I knew it, you'd started finding inconsistencies in the testimonies. I think you might have a natural talent for being a lawyer. Forget it, it's terrifying. If I get through this, I don't ever want to see the inside of a courtroom again. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, it looks like we've exposed your Phantom Lady at last. Miss... Zed. I swear to fucking God. Well, I'll do this reading out loud. Okay, then we'll do it softly, okay? We'll do it softly. A student from Great Britain is she. That's what I was trying to tell you from the start. Dr. Wilson wasn't alone. There was a young woman with him, like I've been saying all along. Yes, you have, haven't you? I might not be able to come some observation on one thing I am sure of. Yes, I can see that. So, this young gentlewoman, thanks to our detective friends, she was hastily escorted away from the scene, it seems. Did you see what happened with that? No, I didn't see any of it. I was just at the restaurant myself, then on the floor next to Dr. Wilson's table. I noticed there was a gun lying on the floor. And just after I bent down and picked it up. BANG! Okay. Why didn't you get your girlfriend to buy this game on PC? I've only found it... Well, the thing is, me and her were in a game store not too long ago. Well, it's been weeks. But we were in that game store. And me and her were just saying like, hey, I really like this game. Oh, you want me to buy it for your birthday someday? You know, you want me to buy it for you someday? If you want to, sure. Then go ahead. But, yeah. Bang, main character shoots himself like a dumbass. Oh, no. I didn't have any time to think about where the sound of the gunshot had come from. So she just went with the Switch variant because I didn't even know it was on the PC to begin with too. So you just told me if it's on PC, you just told me that. So the waiter ran over to me looking as white as a sheet, and he bundled me in some sort of small pantry next to the kitchen. Fast thinking by the detective, he apprehended his suspect without a moment's delay. Yes, and because I was shut in the pantry, I have no idea what happened outside the dining area. Well done, both of you, huh? Alright. I forgot his accent. Professor Miko. Well, it seems I was right. The pair of you make an outstanding team. You've exceeded my expectations, I have to say. Yes, it seems you planned this from the start. You arranged things so that I wouldn't be able to act as a lawyer in this trial. Our modern country is still in its infancy. Our justice system even more so. Which is why I firmly believe that we need to send our brightest young stars overseas to learn all they can. I wanted to avoid a situation that may have resulted in your study tour to Great Britain being cancelled. I think he did it. I honestly think he did it. He is the director of medicine. That's what I have right here somewhere. Yeah, so both the victim as well as this dude both studied medicine, and they are both big guys in their field, so something tells me that he shot them. Well, it makes no difference, lawyer or otherwise, if I'm the kind of man who can help his best friend avert the worst crisis of his life. I shouldn't waste everyone's time by going to study overseas anyway. What? What are you saying, Kazuma? So that's your stance. I was afraid you'd feel that way. Kazuma. Well then, it looks like it all comes down to you, young man. To me? Yes, you need to prove your innocence and uncover what really took place in that restaurant. I must say, I very much want to know the truth. After all, I have a personal connection to this case. Come to think of it, he said the same thing earlier this morning, didn't he? No. Well, we already deducted that quite a while ago. If you don't mind me asking, Professor, did you know the victim? Yes, I did. As you're probably aware, Dr. John Wilson was a visiting professor at UMA. You may now kiss the bride. Okay, and it was I who invited him. Oh, I see. I didn't know that before. Anyway, you're about to go into battle. The victim was a university professor from Great Britain, and a well-known one at that. Naturally, our government is looking to identify and punish the culprit as quickly as possible. But let's not forget who we're going up against. The gentlewoman whose involvement our police bureau went to extraordinary lengths to hide. Yes, and I'm sure that the prosecution will be using every tool at their disposal to quash your case, but I have no doubt that you pair will put up a good fight right to the last. Best of luck. Now then. I need you to run an errand at the university at once. There's something I think we may need. Of course. Good luck, Kazuma-sama. Datebayo. Uwu. Uwu. Defendant Naruhodo, court recess is over. Please make your way back inside the courtroom at once. It's time. Let's get back to it, partner. Let's go in there and deal a decisive blow. Before those hot fossils know what's hit them. Older than fossils are pleonasm. Shut the fuck up. Kazuma. What? Thank you. Really? What for? Well, if you hadn't said you believe me, then I'm fairly sure that already we have been found guilty by now. Was there anything of need in the convo? Only the professor saying he had a personal connection to the case, but I think he's just he did it because of his perseverance with Kazuma not taking the lead in this case. They both studied meds, so the victim and him both studied meds. The fuck was that? The fuck was what? And he just said he had a personal connection. Look, I have faith in you. As a lawyer and as a friend. And we're still not in court. Yeah, I'm trying to soak it all in. If I'm found guilty in this trial, he's really going to give up on this dream of studying abroad. That's the kind of true friend he is. So this isn't just my battle anymore. I need to fuck him. Whoever we're up against, we absolutely need to fuck him. Some high-pitched voice. Oh, I didn't say anything. Datebayo, nani? Voice kills me. Alright then. I'll save the thank yous for after the trial. You can treat me one of those Tsukimi. Yes, you can Tsukimi at Yume Cafeteria on Uni Street. With an extra large portion, of course. Fuck no, I'm not gonna spend any money at you. Supreme Court of Judicature, Courtroom 2. Fuck it, going to seppuku. No, you're not going to seppuku. Bonk. The court hereby... Oh, wait, he was English. From what I can remember, he was English. Bucket of... The court hereby resumes the trial of Uryu Naruhodo. Prosecutor Archie, have you managed to subpoena the witness? Yes, Your Excellency, against all odds. And thanks to a certain young stripling, the prosecution is now under a rather painful scrutiny from the government. Huh? Sorry, why are we saying sorry? Let the government scrutinize, that's their job, it's nothing to worry about. It's highly unlikely that the good relations we forge with Great Britain will emerge from this trial unscathed. Will you still think it's nothing to worry about when the new treaty breaks down and our nation found us? Again, terribly sorry. If the friendship between our nations is really so fragile, then the treaty isn't worth the paper it's written on. You really have nothing to worry about, Ryu? What do you mean? A secret trial, anxiety over some foreign government's opinions, a bungled investigation, missing witnesses. Is this what our nation's justice system is? Is this the Supreme Court of Japan or of England? Shut up, you jumped up rookie boy. You and your friend know nothing of the situation our nation finds itself in. By aligning ourselves with this great world power, we'll become strong. Diplomacy has never been more critical. Steady political maneuvering is what will secure our futures. I won't deny that I'm no expert, I'm just a student, and no one could arguably study harder too. But standing here now in our Supreme Court, there's one thing that I feel very strongly. A country that fails to uphold the truth in its justice system is a country that has no future at all. Well said, Ryu, despite the wide-eyed look of terror. You little brats. Thank you, Counsel. This court is the pinnacle of our nation's justice system and exists solely for the pursuance of truth. With that in mind, this trial will now resume with the next witness taking the stand. The visiting student from Great Britain, Miss Pratt. Yes. You're excellent. I'm not gonna do that. It's gonna kill my throat. Oh god, she's hot. I'm talking about the swan, by the way. Well, what a delight it is to welcome such a fine gentlewoman to Japan and from such a distant land. Tea. Someone bring English tea. In England, no discussions take place without tea. Oh, shut the fuck up. Is that true? No idea. So, could we possibly trouble you to state your name and occupation for the court? Of course. My name is Satoru Hosonaga. I have been working undercover as the head waiter at La Carnival. Yes, we know all about you already. Inspector Hosonaga, where are your manners? In England, it's always the ladies first. Is that true? No idea. The person who has written this top-notch writing, honestly though. More importantly, a little earlier today you said something to me. You said your powers of observations are the one thing you're sure of. Oh yeah, I think I did, didn't I? Yet your description for this amazing sight was simply a woman. Sorry, Ryu, but your powers of observation aside, your powers of description are sorely lacking. Guilty. So, dear lady, once again, if we may trouble you for your name and occupation, please. I'm trying to think of a punchline here. What would be a good punchline? She can't write! I'm terribly sorry, dear lady, but... What? The lady says her name is Giselle Brett. She comes from London, England. She's a visiting research student, currently enrolled in UMA University's medical faculty. Oh my, what a rare treat to hear the duet tones of the delightful language of the British people. I'm afraid I don't understand a word you said, but it was as beautiful as a hummingbird's song. As far as I can tell, the detective is translating her words faithfully enough. Yeah, I agree. You'll obviously do fine in England, Kazuma. Her English doesn't rattle you at all, does it? Nor you. You've been clearly paying attention in your English classes, Ryu. Aren't we speaking English right now? What am I doing here? The court thanks the beautiful lady for taking the stand. Now, if we may trouble you to confirm something, Miss Brett. Something tells me that it's gonna be a man. Is there, gender benders in this franchise? I don't know. 3 days ago, at a restaurant called La Carnival, a grim murder took place. The court has been led to believe you were dining there with the victim, Dr. Wilson, at the time. Is that correct? Isn't this just Arabic or something? She says yes, oh. This could take some time. So even though she's studying here in Japan, she can't speak any Japanese? She'd like to apologize for disappearing from the scene. She says that she was due to make a presentation at the university, so she had to leave immediately. Interesting, when you're the one who engineered her escape. I was just following special orders from the bureau. Well now, dear lady, would you be so kind as to cast your eyes on the photographic print? Yep, that man died. Seeing as you were so unfortunately present at the scene of the crime, could it be that your resplendent eyes caught sight of the wicked perpetrator perhaps? Apparently it was a very frightening and sorrowful sight. Do you mean to say... Yes, it would appear the lady did witness the crime. The very moment when the accused, standing right there in this courtroom, shot the victim in cold blood. What's... Why is she not talking? Because she speaks English. Apparently, everybody here, because we're in Japan, everybody speaks Japanese, and when she talks, it's muffled. Did you hear that, Your Excellency? Here we have an absolutely conclusive witness statement. Well, it looks like it's clear now. Clear who our real enemy is. Unfortunately, I will have to ask you to formally testify if you please. Kindly tell the court the exact nature of this frightening and sorrowful sight you described. A frightening and sorrowful sight. Okay, here we go. I had arranged to meet for a slightly late luncheon. What is a luncheon? Is that an evolution I'm not familiar with? With Dr. Wilson that day, the professor was unable to eat, so I ordered for myself only a beefsteak. That's true. After a while, the accused came over to greet the professor and they got into a fierce argument. Then, not long afterwards, the accused took the professor's gun and shot him right before my eyes. I don't carry a gun myself, so obviously I couldn't have been the culprit. This is a condemning testimony indeed. didn't have any kind of argument with the professor at all. Quiet, you filthy wretch. What the fuck does a wretch mean? Look at you, black-hearted blackguard. And look at this snow-white angel. I'm sure even dark-minded scoundrel like you can imagine those words the court is going to believe. You're still making the same mistakes, are you? You mustn't blurt out when you're granted like that. That's a lesson you need to learn. But he's so annoying. Yep, I do agree. Of course, I was at the scene as well. I took statements from this lady and the 2 witnesses who testified before and reported back to the bureau. And it was decided Miss Brett was not involved, so I let her go. The testimonies of the last 2 witnesses were completely worthless, however. Well, even so. On the day in question, the lady was wearing the same outfit as she is today. As you can see, there's nowhere about her person where she could conceal a firearm. There is so much space. I mean, even here, in the titty region, there is enough space to put a gun. I would think she could hide a gun almost anywhere in that outfit if she wanted to. Exactly, thank you, me. Unless and until the precise location where the witness is to have hidden a weapon can be shown, this is moot. It's bullshit. Okay. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. Trust me, women have enough outfits. Those are the witness's own words on the matter. If only I was allowed to lift up her dress, I could prove it. Don't do that. Don't think about doing anything rash, Ryu. But I didn't fire the gun I picked up. There must be another gun there that I told you if you picked up that gun. But who is the gun that you picked up? From who is the gun that you picked up? Was that from the victim itself? You're right about that, which means this lady was hiding a gun somewhere. Yes, that's what we have to prove now. And to do so, we will need to pull her testimony apart. The defense may now cross-examine the witness. We're just gonna press him on everything. After 2 PM, in fact, that's really quite a late lunch, isn't it? You don't keep up with the latest fashion from Britain, do you? Let luncheons are en vogue, isn't that right? No. The size of English no has quite a sting to it. The gentlewoman is currently working in the victim's research laboratory, it seems. So there was apparently a daily occurrence that they would lunch together. But on the day in question, the victim had another appointment at the clinic first. I'm gonna grab a chocolate really quick, I still have chocolate left. Yes, which we can prove from the medical report card that was submitted as evidence earlier. That's right. Miss Brett and the victim went to lunch following the victim's treatment, which is why it was so late.
Yes!
At on a clinic, correct? Eating a chocolate, I can't. Dear me, what a narrowing experience. Do you have any idea how much this is costing my voice? Doing 4 voices at the same time. To have traveled to a distant land on the far side of the world and be embroiled in such a tragic accident. Have no fear, my dear lady. I swear I'll crush the evil fiend that has subjected you to this terrible plight. So the victim, Dr. Wilson, had nothing to eat or drink at all? That's right, other than some carbonated water. Just water? Yes, Professor was unable to eat, but he had been given permission to drink water. So it appears that the diners toasted their lunch with a glass of water each. What do you think, Ryu? It's very meaningful. That last statement of yours, Miss Brett, has a profound bearing on this case. Well, well, how fascinating. Do tell us, what is this profound bearing? The significance of the statements will become apparent when the time is right. The defense calls for the witness' last statement to be formally added to the testimony. I think it's about the glass, because they were talking about that glass specific, or well, the carbonated water, but there was, if I remember correctly, on the photo, or the foil, whatever, on the photo, I only saw one glass, if I remember correctly. Kindly repeat what you just said to be added to your official testimony. Gladly. That was brilliant, Kazuma. I'm going to remember that one. Which one? The significance will become apparent when the time is right. I could really use that phrase. I'd hope there are some more useful tips you're picking up from this experience than that, Ryu. He's mad at me because, as you can see, his headband is not windy anymore. I want a beefsteak for myself and Professor Anna said. Okay. Let's press her on this one. I'm just gonna press her on everything. I never got into an argument with the Professor. All I did when I noticed him was go over to say hello. Please don't get angry with me. No, I wasn't directing that retort at you. It was meant for the lady next to you. But anyway, as I said, I did not argue with the Professor. There was wine on the table and only one glass. Was it wine? No, I don't think so. I'm afraid your words are in vain. Sorry? Miss Brett does not appear to speak Japanese. No, of course not. Japanese is such a cumbersome language anyway. English is the future. We must all supiku ingurishu. We must supiku ingurisu. Spiku ingurisu. We must all seppuku. Yeah, I read that at first too. Well, I mean, they know a thing or two about mass suicide there, you know, Fukushima. Yeah, okay. I wonder if the prosecution will feel that way forever, or only if in the presence of a beautiful woman, What a beautiful woman is telling blatant lies with a completely straight face. I have to find something that will unravel a testimony, no matter how seemingly insignificant it is. Anyway, it seems that after the argument, the accused briefly returned to his own seat. That part ties in what you said, doesn't it? Yeah, I still had some coffee to drink. And the next time you got up after that was when I'd finished my coffee and stood up to leave. Like I said, I did not shoot that gun. And like I said, there's no point in repeating that assertion over and over. Well, I wasn't expecting to be attacked by my own side. Nevertheless, defendant, you can't deny that when the shot rang out in the restaurant, you had a gun in your hand. Yeah, but isn't there such a thing such as ballistics in 1917? I don't know how far the ballistics actually goes. But if it's two different guns with two very different shells, you know, don't we at least cross-examine that? I mean, we can say for certain, like, oh, I like the game title still. This is my favorite Pokemon game of all time, honestly. No, but, like, comparing the bullets to one another is a different thing. But if it's two completely different shells, then at least you can see that from the outside. You know, like the actual shell casings being used. Oh my god. Well, yes, that's true, but all I did was pick up the gun I saw on the floor next to the professor as I was leaving the restaurant. In fact, yes, there was someone much closer to the victim than me at the time. That will do, you dirty, rotten scoundrel. Dirty? Change stream name. Fuck's sake, you people are annoying as shit tonight. Ace Attorney, baby. Chronicles. Ace. There you go. Should be changed now. Your baseless accusations could very well cause an international incident, boy! It seems to me that your accusation is just as baseless as ours. 1918 said, what nonsense. The lady's merely stating what she saw. And this is already an international incident as far as I'm concerned anyway. Yes! It's all very well saying that, but can you prove it? Absolutely, I've verified it personally. Yes, I put my hands up her skirt and grabbed her right by the... Thank you, Trump, for that line. That's something I will use for the rest of my life now. It's just that sometimes there are certain people who have a certain saying or a certain quote that influences my life personally. And one of those Trump quotes, it's like, China, you verified it. Immediately after the incident, I checked to make sure the lady was not carrying a weapon. I distinctly remember saying, I'm not. That's all you did? You just asked her? Surely you carried out a physical search, Inspector. No. Why on earth not? The honorable English gentlewoman clearly stated that she did not possess a weapon. There was obviously no need for any further probing into the matter. Probing in her ass. Or there was no permission given for any further probing into the matter, perhaps? Think what you will. But if you're going to continue with this preposterous claim that the refined lady was concealing a firearm, the prosecution demands that you support your assertion with facts. In other words, he wants evidence. The lady wishes to point out that of course she wanted to stay and assist with the investigation, but she was in a hurry to give a presentation at the university, so she was compelled to leave. Not to mention the fact that your officers told you to get the woman out of there. Not get her out of there, I just urge her to leave. The lady would like to point out that she in no way meant to run away from the scene of the crime, which is why she is only happy to cooperate and testify in court today, of course. Unlike a certain student who refuses to admit when the game is up. Dude, we already fucked over 2 of your witnesses. Your key witness even fucking lied. Yeah. Okay, so back when the very first witness, or the waiter who actually turns out to be an undercover, he was unsworn for a reason. You know, he didn't got sworn in to say the truth for a reason, because if he was sworn in, he would have actually been a culprit to lying to the court as well, which means that there's probably a death penalty in Japan at that time for that as well. So that's why he was unsworn. He wasn't sworn in the first place, because otherwise he could get the death penalty by law. You could at least have the courtesy to pay attention when I'm goading you. So she's maintaining that you got into an argument with the professor at the end of which you shot it. Which is an unfounded lie. Still, her statement is very compelling. After all, she's an elegant, refined, young and beautiful gentlewoman from Great Britain. She's not even a woman, is she? In stark contrast to you, dressed from head to toe in a dull black school uniform. I'm dressed exactly the same way as you are, except for the flapping red ribbons. Well, anyway, this is only our only chance to expose the testimony as the fiction that it is. If we can't do that, the trial's over. Even you, with your thick skin, must be able to feel the murderous looks you're getting from around the room. Only too well. I feel half that already. And the fact that I can see a single inconsistency in the testimony doesn't make me feel any better either. The first thing you do is press on any of a statement that seems slightly off to you. What do you think I've been doing? Do that and an opening will present itself. We already have the opening. We're gonna present our case here. Because that... Let's examine this first before we present this. There's only one glass indeed. Yep. I don't see any water.
Yes.
That's it. Let me just confirm something, please. It's to do with this photographic print. Just a short while ago, you spoke of this print showing the victim's table at the crime scene. That it was exactly as it was left. That is correct, the lady says. Well, that is... It's odd. Very odd. Dear me, what's odd in the defense's inability to express... What's odd is the defense's inability to express itself. Jesus fucking Christ, some of these sentences. Ugh. Ryu, what is it about the print that looks odd to you? Well, obviously, it's the chairs. The chairs? Miss Brett just told us that she and the professor set chairs over a glass of water. But if that's true, there should be 2 glasses on the table, not 1. Deduction! You're quite right, Counsel. There's only 1 glass pictured here. Are we supposed to be impressed by this nitpicking over minute? Jesus fucking Christ. Some of these words, my English, not perfect, but very good. But this shit, too far. What possible difference does the presence or absence of a glass make on the case? Hold on. Sending a text.
Objection!
Minoche, you say? Could it be that the detective here removed the glass from the table to conceal the lady's presence? Of course not. I would never do something so reckless. But there should have been 2 glasses on the table. Or are you going to try to tell me you can clink with only 1? You're quite right. I certainly took 2 glasses to the table. Inspector, what did the lady say? It would seem that it was Miss Brett who took the glass from the table, but where did she put it? What? It was also terrifying, everything that happened. I panicked and thought I should try to hide the fact that I'd been there at all, she's saying. Good gracious. Sorry. There, as I assured the court before, this is of no consequence at all. Oh, please. We must remember that the student had just murdered this lady's luncheon companion before our very eyes. Who could blame him for concealing a glass or 2 in a state of disarray? That's absurd. Oh, really? So do we take it that you are now going to accuse this vulnerable, young and beautiful woman of mischief? What? No. This can be put down to mischief. Mischief. Is it mischief or mischief? I'd like to know exactly how the lady took the glass from the scene. Put it up her ass! It would seem that she slipped it into a small handbag she was carrying. A handbag, you say? Yes, Your Excellency. A small, handheld pouch commonly carried by well-to-do women in England. So the beautiful lady has very graciously explained how and why she removed the glass from the scene now. However, the fact remains that the glass has absolutely no bearing on the case. This student has been trying to confuse the court with logical reasoning, but in the end it comes to nothing. Logical reasoning? Logical deduction? What is this madness? No more pretentious accusations. You have wasted enough time already. Indeed, the lady has offered a satisfactory explanation as to why she removed the glass. I think henceforth we can consider the matter have no bearing on this case. Counsel for the defense, are you in agreement? I don't know, really. Neither do I. If you want to pursue that matter further, you're going to need to show that it has some deeper significance. So she took the glass away in her handbag. If there's a deeper significance there, it's the handbag. Wait, the lady put the glass in her handbag, you say? Yes, do try to keep up. It's already been explained to the court that all English gentlewomen carry handbags for small items. Let me see. A little while ago, Miss Brett stated that the following. There are no pockets in my outfit. I have nowhere to hide a gun. But what she forgot to mention was her handbag, in which it would be perfectly possible to conceal a gun. You're right. Logical reasoning, logical deduction, how dare we? Well done, partner. I had a feeling you'd pick up on that too. Why didn't you say it? What are you insinuating, you foul blackguard? Okay, can we stop with the accusations with black in it? Because I have a feeling that it's going to get me banned from Twitch. I mean, I don't mind. It would save me a ton of time. It would save me like 6 hours a week on average, or 4 hours a week. But yeah, you foul blackguard. It's really very simple. The gunshot was heard when the defendant picked up the gun from the restaurant floor. As he didn't fire that gun, we can deduce there must be another firearm at the scene. The true murder weapon, if you will. You can't seriously be suggesting. I've said this from the get-go. Inspector Hosonaga. Yes? Did you or did you not search Miss Brett's handbag on the day of the murder? No, sir. I did not. As I thought. In other words, another gun, the one that was actually used to kill the professor, could have been hidden in Miss Brett's handbag. No! Order, order, order! Order 69. What is the meaning of this, Inspector? The meaning of what, Prosecutor Archie? Why on earth did you not have the lady open her handbag and show you the contents at the time? Thank you for your bungling incompetence. Now she has to endure these uncomfortable accusations. Brilliant work, partner. Now we have a chance to expose the real woman behind the mask. Do you think so, Kazuma? Well, what a sorry situation. Clearly, you have no faith in the police. As I said, I did not search the lady's handbag after the shooting, simply because it was unnecessary. Unnecessary in what way? I ought to thank the student lawyer, really. I have a piece of evidence here that I had completely forgotten about. This photographic print. This print is of a photograph that I thought would be prudent to take immediately after the shooting. As you can see, it clearly shows Miss Brett's handbag. Well, I never. You can see right through to what's inside. That's right. Apparently, meshwork bags like these are the height of fashion in London at the moment. So the contents are clearly visible. Exactly. So there was no need to search the lady's handbag. If there had been a gun inside, it would have been immediately obvious. As you can see, there's nothing to imply Miss Brett's guilt here. Thank you for helping me prove that. Oh, nice. Inspector Hosonaga, will you submit that print as evidence at once? Certainly, Your Excellency. From what taken by Hosanaga's son after the incident occurred, it shows misread handbag on the chair by the victim's table. I think you've had long enough to cross-examine the witness counsel. The court has now been shown considerable evidence. As the photograph just submitted into the court records appears to have no further significance, I am satisfied that there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Indeed, there's only one logical conclusion, that the pathetic rookie slumped over the bench before us is the only possible perpetrator of this crime. No. Just when I thought I was beginning to turn things around, I'm in a worse situation than I was at the start. Kazuma? I'm sorry, Ryu. Now that the cross-examination of the witness is over, there is no way to force the trial to continue. What? You mean this is it? If this is it... I must say, you put up quite a fight for a rookie student, but the weak are meat, while the strong eat. You were wasting your time. There's no way to defeat true justice. I merely had to forge this entire goddamn trial. A fact that you can chew out to your heart's content from the inside of your cell. This can't be happening. Am I really going to be found guilty of a crime that I didn't commit? And Kazuma, his dream of going to study in Great Britain will slip through his fingers. Kazuma, what? Is there really no chance now of turning this trial around? You heard the judge. There's nothing about that last photograph the detective produced that we can contest, which means there's no basis on which we can argue for the trial to continue. Very well, I will now proceed immediately to the ruling. It seems we will be able to report to the British government on time after all. That's smug little... Ryu, having considered all of the evidence placed before me, I hereby find you, yes. Wait, Your Excellency. Ryu? I don't think you can rule out this case yet. This amateurishness is getting tedious. When His Excellency deems that this trial is over, he gives a ruling. That is the most basic protocol of the courtroom. Oh, I didn't see this part before on his hands. What is that? Your Excellency, just a moment ago you said this. As the print just submitted appears to have no further significance, there is no longer any room for doubt in this matter, and I must make my ruling. Now that means if there was a problem with the evidence, some significant detail, I mean... then ruling out on the case at this time would be out of the question. This is blatant straw clutching. Look at this print. All it shows is the handbag the gentlewoman was carrying in the day in question. There can be no problem with this evidence. You'd better know what you're doing, Ryu. I understand your objection, counsel. Certainly, the new evidence submitted by the detective has not undergone the court's scrutiny. However, I fail to see how... What is that? Is that a birthmark of some sorts? That's a bull. He has a bull on his hand or something. I just saw this. Look at his wrist. It's upside down. It's a bull or something. I fail to see how we can glean any new information from this handbag. My fault, exactly. Really, the prosecution is becoming tired of this rookie's desperate wheezes. Branding. No, I think he went to a whorehouse, you know, he got like a tramp stamp before he went in. I'm desperate, but this is no wheeze. There's something about this photo which just doesn't seem right. If only I could put my finger on it. Very well, I'll grant the defense one final opportunity. What? What do you want? I'm gonna smash him with the hammer, and then me will be sitting on the defense next time. Unhand it would be someone branded as probably. Do I make myself clear? Yes, Your Excellency. So, take another look at the photographic print Inspector Olsenaga submitted before. You will identify for the court where, in this print, we see the significant detail in which you have alluded.
Yes!
Look at this, here. There's a very unusual mark on the victim's wrist. That is true. It looks almost like a burn of some description.
Objection!
Dear me, I was pondering what new pitfall you would come out with. A burn, you say, on the victim's wrist? Clearly, that has nothing whatsoever to do with the magnificent lady's handbag. Yes, that is a burn mark, you're right. Go on, Inspector. The police coroner also noticed it when he was performing the post-mortem examination. It was deemed unrelated to the cause of death, so he didn't note it in his report. What did I tell you? In any case, we have no idea when the victim suffered this burn, do we? And no possible way of knowing either. The more I look at it, the more I find myself intrigued by this curious shape of this mark. However, as Prosecutor Archie points out, unless a firm connection to the case can be shown, I cannot allow any further time to be spent on the precise details of this burn. Excuse me, Your Excellency. It would seem Miss Brad has a lunch appointment with the Dean and other university staff. She would like to know if she may be excused from the stand now. Oh, of course, dear lady. We shan't hold you up any longer. I'm quite sure His Excellency is about to give his final ruling anyway. What's your thinking on this, Ryu? Do you believe this burn does have something to do with this case? To be honest, I'm not really sure. But if I don't keep pushing, then it's all over. So I was thinking I should keep digging and digging in the hope that I might uncover something useful. Yes, you're right. I am? If we can just link that burn to the case. If we can do that, we might be able to prise this shutting door back open again. Just give up, Counsel. You can possibly hope to do that. Indeed, I'm afraid that without evidence, I can't allow you to pursue what is little more than a conjecture. But if we had evidence... Evidence that irrefutably linked the burn and... Oh, for fuck's sake, this shit goes on too long. Where's the minus button? There it is. I would. Yes. To tell the truth, I hadn't noticed that burn. Neither did I, to be honest. But as soon as you pointed it out, what I did notice was the color draining from Miss Brad's face. Really? I have to find some link between that burn and the case. This is the moment of truth. It's time to find evidence that proves what that burn really means. So then, the defense will now present its evidence to the courts. The evidence that demonstrated the symbol of Yuma University. Every student wears this pin with pride. It's funny, but most emblems seem to be either round or rectangular. Although, it does cause problems. Lots of students end up cutting their fingers on their badges. Perhaps it was the idea of one of the founders, a sharp pin for a sharp mind or something. I'm looking for something that is able to make this pattern. It was a bull mark or something, right? Perhaps it's this one. The victim's burn is clearly related to this piece of evidence in the court record. Then explain to the court in 5 words or less what the nature of that connection is. Oh, it's obviously. Thank you. 5 highly illuminating words. What? As I suspected, the rookie student is bluffing. Again. You've been burned there yourself, Ryu. I do feel like I've seen the shape of the burn somewhere before, though. Look through the court record again. Carefully this time. Yes, okay, so we're looking for a bull here. Or something that can make that shape. So then the defense will now present its evidence to the court, blah blah blah. It looks like a bull. Well, there was a steak on the table. Let's examine this bullshit. Oh, here it is. The plate is bull. Yes, it's bullshit. Is motherfucker black? Well, I only... No, I need to present this.
Yes.
What's this, Counsel? Yet another print? Yes, Your Excellency. I believe photographic prints are an amazing invention. When we humans look at the blah 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 blah, but in a photograph, things we may have overlooked. Do hurry up, Rookie. What are you trying to say? To inconvenience this poor lady any further really would fuck me in the ass. Actually, we may not need to stay with us a little long if you don't mind, Miss Brett. Be shit. Trying to pin a murder on me. You see, it's very clearly visible in the other photograph. How did the victim come to have that unusually sharp burn on his wrist? The reason is recorded here forevermore. What? How?
Objection!
Shut the fuck up. You can't fool me with your little bluffs, boy. Is that your game? Then let's see how it plays out. Show the court exactly what you mean. What is in this photograph that explains the reason for the victim's burn?
Yes.
The beefsteak? Actually, the point is the metal plate the steak was served on. Wait, so if it was his wrist, then he would be eating it himself. If that's the case. As you can see, there's an emblem on the plate. I would guess it's some sort of trademark of La Carnival. The emblem on the plate. Yeah, he had his hands on the plate, so he was eating. Oh, exactly the same shape. Wow, I didn't see that before. Ah, Ryu, you genius. You are spot on. Which means the victim must have suffered this burn while he was present at the restaurant.
Objection!
But even if that is the case, we can't know if it happened on the day in question or not. It could have been the day before, or the day before that. It most likely happened at some other unrelated time. Well...
Objection!
Oh. Sadly, Prosecutor Archie, the chances of that are extremely slim. Oh, here we go. Thanks. Why? The outline of the burn is clearly discernible. Such a serious injury would have caused quite a commotion in the restaurant. Wouldn't you agree, Inspector Hosonaga? I can't imagine having such a terrible disaster, certainly. But... I would say, looking at the picture of the wound, that it wasn't suffered very long ago. And although it's not a particularly large burn, it's extremely well defined, as the defense just pointed out. They're working for me now. This was no mild burn, that's for sure. Can you be more specific, Inspector? Well, let's see. If the plate was at around 90 degrees centigrade, a burn like that would have taken around 3 seconds. It's inconceivable that the victim wouldn't have let out a scream of pain then. I've been investigating at the restaurant for several weeks already, but I've not heard any scream at all. As the head waiter of La Carnival, I can testify to that without hesitation. But you're a detective, not a waiter. I mean,
Yes.
well done is well done, definitely. There you have it, something isn't right here. As the detective said, anyone who would burn themselves in a piping hot plate for 3 whole seconds would scream in pain. There's no question of that. And yet Inspector Hosenaga never heard the professor scream, not on that day or any before it. And the strange thing is, on the day he was shot, I didn't hear him cry out either. Which means that it was after the burn. If the professor had carelessly laid his wrist on the plate for anything like 3 seconds that day, that would be beyond careless, I think, Counsel. Then the rest of us in the restaurant, myself, the sergeant, and the old antiques dealer. Yeah, he was already dead. Yeah, this happened post-mortem. Wouldn't you agree, Prosecutor Archie? Well, I suppose. So the question is, why didn't a single person hear Dr. Wilson scream? I almost don't believe it. Ryu, do you think... Can it really be true? I never dreamt we'd arrive at a conclusion like this, but... I'm starting to think that maybe... we've been led into a terrible trap. Oh, no shit, Sherlock. There's only one explanation I can think of to make sense of this apparent impossibility. On the day in question, when he suffered the burn to his wrist, Dr. Wilson... hadn't noticed the burn. People, I will leave it here for this stream. I will see you all upcoming Wednesday. I hope to see you all then. And until then, we will see who actually did this, I think, hopefully. So, I will see you all upcoming Wednesday. What a cliffhanger. Wow, I'm such a good guy.